Hello everybody, Dave here, and welcome to a very spooky video on this Old Hallows Eve. Let me tell you a story deep in myth and history to celebrate this most supernatural of days. For centuries, the folk from Dartmoor have been told grisly tales of the witch hounds, who with their master stalks the lonely moors at night. Some say 'tis the devil himself who leads, while others asserts it's the Squire Cable. Then there are those who tell that the manner of the hound is none other than so rightly rare. But regardless of who rides with the rest hound, they are something that you don't want to meet on a dark and misty night. They search the moors in order to feed on the souls of the lost folk and unabrazened infants, just like the poor moorsmen who met the dark huntsman. But not everyone who meets the west hound has a tale of woe to tell, as this story clearly demonstrates. There once was a poor widow woman who lived on a false farmstead in the heart of the moor. Life was harsh for the old woman, who managed to scrape a meagre existence by selling her eggs, cheese and butter at the local market. Unfortunately, her hens were no longer spring chickens, and her 4 cows no longer high-yielding cash cows. Every week, the old woman struggled to find enough eggs and make enough butter and cheese to sell. For her to get the best prices for what little produce she had, it was vital to get to the market at first light in order to get a prime pitch for her wares. So, with the moon still high in the night, she hauled her aged pony from the Shepton and loaded on its pastries, in which she carried peacefully her eggs, cheese and butter. As the old lady made her way along the ancient moorland track, she faintly heard the baying of dogs wafting on the breeze, and to her aged ears it sounded as if they were coming at pace towards her. Then, as if the moon's spotlight, a small brown hare came bundling along the track, and seeing the old woman, immediately grounded to a halt. By then, the dark figures of a rider and a pack of enormous hounds in a full cry could be seen. As quick as you like, the old woman scooped up the hare and hid it in deep down in one of the panniers, and trudged her way to the market. She had not gone far when she firstly spotted a huge, headless horse bearing down on her, and she noticed the ghost-like horns and clover in front of its rider, along with the pack of huge black dogs, the eyes flaming like pits of hell. Immediately she knew she had just met the Lord of Darkness himself, and with his pack of west hounds an icy Arctic shiver shot up her back. The very air was thick with stench of sulphur and the fetid stink of the slavering breath of the hounds. The headless horse slid to a stop right beside her. Then, much to her amusement, the rider asked in a very polite voice if she had recently seen a hare pass by. The gentleness of his voice gave her heart, and she firmly stated that she had not seen any creature since leaving home. The rider nodded graciously, spurred the headless horse, and called his hounds. The master and pack charged off into the darkness. No sooner had the hounds disappeared from sight than the little hare sprung from the pannier and sat at her feet. Slowly it began to spin and spin around until the animal just became a furry blur. And then a beautiful woman emerged, like a butterfly breaking out of its chrysalis. The lady looked at the old woman's hand and gazed into her eyes and said, "Good dame, I admire your bravery in the face of such demonic company, and I thank you for delivering me from a state of suffering that should not be uttered into human ears." Smiling, the sweet lady continued, "Fear not, when I tell you that I am no longer a dweller of this earth, but during the time that I lived amongst you humans, I committed a grievous crime, and as a punishment, I was turned into a hare, and doomed to be recklessly chased by the devil and his hellish pack of hounds. Only when I could get behind the hunt would it be possible to return to my original form. Now, thanks to your bravery, I have finally, after countless centuries, returned, and as a reward for your kindness, you will find that from this day hence, your hens will lay all the eggs you could wish for, and your cows will yield so much milk you should never want for anything." The lady's face took on a serious look. "But now I must warn you of one thing. You have cleverly outwitted the Dark Lord, and should he ever realize what you have done, all matter of ill shall befall you. Please bear in mind he can assume any shape apart from the lamb and the dove. So it is to these that you must always put your trust, and they will protect you from all evils." With that, the lady vanished into the distance, and amidst the first glowing rays of the rising sun, as promised, from that day on, her hens became prolific layers, and the milk from her cows ran in endless streams, and she wanted for nothing. That is the tale of the Hare and the Hound from Dartmoor Myth and Legend. I hope that you enjoyed this video on this Old Hallows Eve, and remember, knowledge is power, and we must use it wisely.